What's up, Tim Sykes, millionaire mentor and trader here with a view, loving life, laptop lifestyle. You can work from anywhere, you can trade from anywhere. I gotta show you the possibilities. I'm not saying you have to do it all the time, but I love literally being able to work from anywhere. We actually have good signal right here. This is crazy to me. Not all the places have the best signal, but this is actually a perfect signal. If the stock market was open right now, I could trade. But the market is closed. I'm just making video lessons. I'm making my watch list for tomorrow. But I also have a list here because this is a very important video lesson where I find that there's a lot of contradictions in the stock market, and these contradictions really confuse people, and it prevents you from really achieving your full potential. Like, I want you to be able to capitalize. I want you to be one of my top 30 millionaire students, but these little contradictions, they make you trade less or maybe even trade more, as we'll get into. They make you study less. They make you doubt yourself. They make other people doubt you. And it's really just a shame. So you remember, I've been trading for 25 plus years now. I've been teaching for 15 plus years. I've seen so much. Not that I've seen everything, but like... I've also been to over 100 countries, and I love, views. I love really just opening people's minds to the possibilities. Too many people think you need an office, you need a cubicle, you got to trade with like 5 monitors, you got to wake up at 4 a.m. and like do 75 hard. There's so many different ways to live life and trade successfully. So I just want to broaden your horizon. So this video is going to be called basically 12 market contradictions. 12 contradictions that I see in the stock market that really confuse people and hold them back. Number one, AI versus humans, or you can even say technology versus humans. There's a lot of people who like doing things the manual way. Like they say no to spreadsheets, they say no to laptops, they like it like living in the past. I know a lot of people where they literally scribble out their trades in like a written journal. They say they learn better that way. If that helps you, do it. But in my experience, technology is only getting better. We're in the midst of this amazing technological revolution, especially with AI. And if you don't embrace it, you're gonna get left behind. And you're probably gonna get more and more bitter, like I know some people are. We're like, I don't understand this world. This world isn't for me. You can understand this world. If you learn technology and you apply it in your life, you don't have to feel left out. You don't have to be bitter. But I get it. Some people are like, victims. They love victimizing themselves. Like, oh, I'm not, into this. That's your choice. If you're not into technology, if you're not using AI, you're missing out. And I'll give you an example, because my team and I have actually spent millions of dollars, and we've been working on this AI project for years. It started off slow in the beginning, but AI has really been growing. The technology has been growing, the potential has been growing, and the applications have been growing. If you actually click the link below, I have a special little holiday gift for you, which is called XGPT. This is an AI program that my team and I have been refining, and we finally just released it to the public. Everyone's loving it. It's picking winners 50, 75, 100, 200% in a day or two. It's specifically geared for short-term trading. It's not trying to find the next big like Microsoft or Amazon. So know what it is and know what it isn't. If you click the link below, there's a free presentation. I also answer a ton of FAQs about it. I'm using it, and I think that you should use it too. But again, if you don't want to, that's on you. I do think that you should really recognize where we are in the world. Like, look at this. I'm sitting in front of a freaking volcano, which is crazy. But have perspective. We are in the middle, maybe not even in the middle, in the early stages of this revolution where technology is getting smaller and smaller, more and more advanced. And it's only natural to want to, ignore it, because it's like getting confusing. Like, I don't understand everything with AI. Like, people ask me like, how does AI and XGPT work? I don't know. I'm not that good at math. I'm not that good at programming, but I am recognizing that it can aid me in my research process and trading process. So I'm open-minded. The second contradiction that I see is big versus small accounts. And this is a big problem in the trading industry because, guess what? I've made over $7.5 million now. Some of my students have made, 12 million, like Jack Kellogg. Tim Grattani's at 15 million. Everyone wants to trade with a big account and be like the next Jack Kellogg or Tim Grattani, but you don't realize that they actually don't even enjoy trading. I don't enjoy trading. Once you make enough money to live well and treat your family, trading is just stressful. And it's like this thing that you really don't look forward to. And I know that sounds crazy because so many people are grinding with $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, dreaming of one day making 5, 10, 12 million. But the more money you make, the more stressful it becomes because there's expectations. Can you achieve your past success? Can you size up and really move the needle? Like, I don't get that much satisfaction anymore when I make $10,000 on a trade. In the beginning, I used to love that, but now $10,000 just doesn't move the needle for me. And frankly, this is why I donate all of my trading profits to charity. Tim Grittani, basically left trading. He went full-time family man. Jack Kellogg has been sizing down. Just last week, he wired out all his money. He didn't even trade for an entire week, but he's made $2 million so far in 2023. So you have to understand, it's not just sizing up and trading with big amounts and everything's perfect. When you have big accounts, you have new problems, more stressful problems, and if you size up, you can't get in and out so quickly. I really encourage you to start learning with a small account. You can take little trades, make $50, make $100, make $1,000 on these small opportunities as low-hanging fruit with gimme patterns that big accounts can't do because it doesn't move the needle on their account. Is not worth their time, and frankly, it's suited for people with small accounts. This is why I love teaching people with small accounts. You actually have a lot of advantages trading with $2,000, $3,000, $5,000 if you focus on the best plays. Understand, most people with small accounts just don't have knowledge. They're not trading like a sniper, so a small account can be a disadvantage, but really ignorance can be the biggest disadvantage, whether you have a small account or big account. So the best case scenario is you study up, you learn, and then you trade with a small account and then eventually grow into a big account. But I don't mind trading small, and frankly for me, what really got me motivated again after so long of not being motivated is donating all my trading profits to charity. And I know that sounds crazy, and if you had told young me that, you would say, Tim, you're going to be a teacher and you're going to donate all your trading profits to charity, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But times change, life changes, and what you want to achieve with your life and what you want to do with your time, that's going to change too. You got to be introspective and do something that fulfills you. I still am so fulfilled traveling all over the world, trading, traveling, teaching, doing charity. I built my dream life based on what really motivates me. Also, I see a contradiction in short versus long. And this is a big part of the problem that I created, because when I first got started teaching, I was almost entirely a short seller. And when I first got started teaching, people were like, short selling penny stocks is illegal. Brokers were saying it. That's part of the reason why I got started teaching, because I was like, it's not illegal. Most brokers just suck. They don't have the right shares to short. So for me, I wanted to, just be honest and get rid of the lies and the assumptions and just cut through the BS. That was my whole goal in teaching. Now, I don't short sell. I haven't short sold in 2 years because I've been, frankly, successful as a teacher. There's so many new shorts who come in, and frankly, they're not wrong that they still short a lot of pump and dumps, and the pump and dumps do crash. But because it's so crowded, there's a lot of squeezes. And before the squeezes would go from like 50 cents or $1 to like $3 or $4 max. Every now and then, maybe $5 a share, but that's it. Now you're getting stocks go from like 1 to 10, 2 to 20, 3 to 50 in a matter of days because there are so many short sellers. And again, it's my fault because I don't teach short selling anymore. And the short sellers who do teach right now, they don't show all their trades. They're lying about the locate costs. They're lying about the risks they take. And so newbie short sellers are getting really crappy deal, and they think that short selling is the way to make millions. It's really dangerous. So I'm very proud to go long. Although there is still money in shorting, I just don't think it's a good risk reward for beginners. Going long, on the other hand, is great because now you can buy some of these stocks that are heavily shorted, and short sellers, frankly, unfortunately, I should say, are so arrogant and so, high and mighty. They think that they're like God's gift trust me, I know I used to be a short seller. I used to be that arrogant, but they always talk about their shorts publicly. They always try to get other people into their shorts. There's a whole investigation right now, I don't know if you know this, into short sellers, because they're all sharing these research reports together, and it's like, who knows about the research reports before it's published? And then you have different short selling Discord chat rooms, and they're all shorting at the same time, and they're trying to, like, crush a stock. This is why I don't like trading with anybody else. I don't encourage you to follow anybody else's alerts. The only reason why I do alert is to show you my process and my mindset. I think you can learn a lot from that. But I would be very careful shorting right now. The risks are dramatic. The costs are dramatic. The competition is huge. It can still be profitable. I'm like almost losing my phone. It can be profitable, and many of my top millionaire students are short biased, but newbies, it's very difficult. Number 4, I would say day trading versus long-term investing. Everyone hates day trading because 90% of traders lose, and everyone's like, just buy Apple and Google and Microsoft for the long term. And that might have worked in the past, but if you have a small account, you're just not going to make that much money with long-term investing unless you hold for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. It does pay off in the long run, but if you have, let's say, $1,000 to your name, $2,000, $5,000 to your name, you're missing out on trying to grow that small account anytime soon. Because even if you're in the best performing stocks, the best performing mutual funds, let's say $2,000, best case over the course of a year, you might make $800, or best case, you might make $1,000. And you're thinking, wait a minute, like, that's good. That's like a 40 or 50% annual return. That's fantastic. But with a small account, if you're trading a hot stock, like I just talked about, these short squeezes are going crazy right now, you can make $1,000 in a day. You can make $1,000 in an hour. And I know it's not always going to happen. It's not a perfect science, but like, you just got to think, like, what's good now versus a year from now. I still think that long-term investing is good if you have a big account, and it's good to put your savings in. But if you have a small account and you want to grow it dramatically, focus on speculative setups. Another thing I want to talk about is losing at first to profit later. This is a big problem with a lot of people where they want to be my next millionaire student. By the way, you can click the second link below. First link will be XGPT, which is AI, which I think you should use. Second link is all about my challenge. That's where I've created 30 plus millionaire students. And now several of those millionaire students are helping me mentor other students, which is awesome. But if you look at the past of all 30 plus of my millionaire students, they made nothing or even lost money in year 1. And some people are like, how is that possible? These are your top students. You're telling me that everyone's a loser? No. When you're learning the process in the beginning, it takes time to adapt. You have to learn what patterns work. The market is changing. You have to choose different position sizes, different times of the day. It's all about adaptation. You have to think of yourself as a scientist when you're testing different formulas. And you should be journaling every single trade too, so that you learn from your successes and your failures. But over time, you start finding your sweet spot. That's what all my top students have done. Jack Kellogg, over $12 million now, he lost several $1,000s for his first 18 months. He was very depressed. What kept him going? Because even though he had lost a few $1,000s, he was learning what worked, what didn't work. And he was crossing off all of the things from his list, what didn't work. And he wasn't going to do those trades anymore while he was focusing on patterns and plays and setups that did work for him. That's what this is all about. Then the market can change too. So there's 2 moving targets. What works best for you and what works best in the market. It takes time to learn. So you can rip on me, you can rip on my students, you can say, oh, they don't make much, especially in the beginning, they lose in the beginning, that's terrible. We have a new disclaimer on timothysykes.com where it's like the average student makes like $50, and people are like, why should I even bother if they only make $50? Because in the beginning, you should trade small. You should try to make $10 or $20 or $30. You shouldn't trade big with any account in the beginning. Mariana, my first female millionaire student, for example, she actually didn't even trade for 1 year. She studied all my DVDs, video lessons, and webinars 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every single day. I wish that more people were like Mariana and have that extreme patience and build that foundation of knowledge first. But it does take time. That's why I say it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I want you to have the right perspective. Tim Grittani might have taken $1,500, turned into over $1 million by year 3. But year 1, he made nothing. Nothing. Robert De Niro voice. Nothing. Okay? Like, How do I get through to people? It's tough. Also, I want to talk about grateful versus ungrateful students. I wrote this all down because I don't want to forget any of this. Sometimes I just say it off the top of my head and I forget important points. If you've noticed, I have a lot of students who are very grateful. They thank me nonstop on Twitter, Instagram, in the chat room, in the press, because I do have 30 plus millionaire students and they're basically starting with very little, a few $100s, a few $1,000. They're all achieving the seemingly impossible. But I also have some ungrateful students where they don't want to admit that they learned from me in the beginning, even if I have tons of video lessons and we've even done interviews together where they're thanking me nonstop. And not even necessarily just interviews, but endless tweets and emails in the beginning being like, Tim, you changed my life. Thank you. Yada, yada, yada. And I love it. I appreciate every single one. But I always see too, year 3, year 4, year 5, where they change their origin story. No, they never learned anything from Timothy Sykes. They never learned anything about penny stocks. I get it, okay? But you're just looking like a fool, especially when all the data suggests otherwise. I don't take it personally at this point. It's disappointing, but I'm used to it. There's always going to be some people who really appreciate my teachings, some people who don't. But I'll tell you this, if you study everything, if you use XGPT, if you get into my challenge and you make 6, 7, 8 figures, by all means, feel free not to thank me. Feel free to pretend that you never learned from me. But in the beginning, I want you to remember who taught you, okay? And later on, if you're truly successful, you and I will both know, and that's enough for me. I didn't get into this game for credit. I'm not trying to boast. I don't need to win awards. I want to change people's lives. So whether you actually want to admit it or not, if you know that I changed your life, and I know that I changed your life, I'm a happy guy. I've made peace with a lot of people where they want to try and like change the past. You can't change the past, and I'm okay with that. Also, some people don't want to talk about their gains publicly. I get it. You have issues with taxes. You have issues with wives or ex-wives or boyfriends or husbands or ex-husbands. I understand. Don't feel the need to like show everything transparently. That's just me. That's my mission, because this is an industry full of scams. And unfortunately, a lot of people are not transparent. I also have older millionaire students. Some people think like, oh, all your millionaire students are young. All the public millionaire students are young. There's also a lot of older millionaires who don't want to be public, and that's fine too. And it's not even that they're ungrateful. It's just that they have lives built and like it would mess them up. Like I have one guy, he's made what, $3.5 million? He might even be over 4 million. I haven't checked lately, but he has a job, and he specifically said, it's like, I don't want to be on camera. I'm grateful for everything, but I also have a business, and if my employees knew that I was trading, they would get very angry. So I understand life can get in the way sometimes, but again, whether you're grateful or not, I'm just happy to help. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, I remember what it was like when I had no teacher, no mentor, so I'm always trying to be the mentor to you that I never had. Trading versus teaching. This is another contradiction. There's so many people out there where they say, if you teach, if you have a newsletter, you're the devil, just trade, don't help others. And I'm like, why? If I know how to trade, and especially because I didn't have a mentor, I know how crappy it is not to have a teacher. Why wouldn't I want to use my experience to help? It doesn't make sense to me. I get it. Most people in my industry are frauds. It's a whole industry full of snake oil salesmen. But if you're real and you have real value, like I know my lessons and my patterns and my setups and my kind of, counterintuitive lessons, I know how much value it can provide for you. Why wouldn't I teach? Also, because there's so many frauds, there's a huge business opportunity. I just have to be real with you. Every time I lose, and I have a video lesson about it, like my $27,000 loss, I'll link that below too. People go crazy. They're like, there's nobody else talking about losses this size, especially in detail, especially with position sizes. So I don't make the rules. I wish that there were more people who were honest and showed all their trades and taught. But so from what I've seen, most people who teach are just straight up snake oil salesmen. Ask them to show all their trades, their position sizes, their wins, their losses, see who their millionaire students are. Or maybe they don't have millionaire students, see who their six-figure students are. Talk to those students. It's crazy to me how many frauds and fakes there are in this industry. So I'm just doing my bit, to be honest. I'm not the best trader. I'm not the best teacher, but I'm real. I guess we already talked about this. Office versus nature. Look at this beautiful view. I actually do have good service here, but at the same time, we're gonna go back to the hotel in a little bit and I'll work from there too. I can work anywhere, but I want you to have an open mind about working outside in nature and trading less. Like, we'll get into that in a second, but you don't need to trade as much as you think you do to really make a lot of money. It's really focus on the best plays, not nonstop trading. I know some people who trade nonstop, and it just, I don't even know. It just sucks, right? Like, even if you make money, you have no life, you're exhausted, you have these hotkeys. I wouldn't trade all the time. Nature allows you to not trade all the time. I wouldn't like use hotkeys or scalp while in nature when the Wi-Fi is going up or down. This allows me to live and allows me to go out and have adventures and focus on only the best trades. Here I want to talk about, speculative, I guess you could call it like aggressive trading versus safe trading. I trade like a coward. If you look at my trades, I make $500, $1,000, $2,000. I just picked one of the biggest winners in the stock market, SHOT. I made like 10%. The thing doubled within 2 days. I was also flying to Indonesia, so it wasn't ideal timing. But I often sell far too soon. I still made nearly $2,000 on it. My average trading profit over the past 25 years is roughly $2,000. I have really bad discipline problems. I know it's crazy because I'm a teacher. I'm like the alcoholic bartender, but I know myself. I know my strengths and weaknesses. If I'm in an office, let's say, I'll trade too much and I'll lose. If I trade too big and trade too aggressively, I'll lose. So I found my sweet spot, and that's trading safe. Rule number one for me is cutting losses quickly. Okay, I always take 1, 2, 3% losses. You can see I lose roughly a third of the time. Trading scared makes trading not so scary. And I know there's a saying that scared money don't make money, and some people like to gamble, they like to hodl, they like to go all in and use leverage. I don't find that to be successful for me or anybody that I've seen in the stock market. We're trading the most volatile stocks already. The volatility is more than enough to make you a millionaire or a multimillionaire over several years, and you can be wrong in any play. And anytime I've been tempted to go big, most of the time, something goes wrong. Whether the company screws it up, the market screws up, I screw up. Every time I'm tempted to go big, I find reasons not to. So for me, I always trade safe, especially in the beginning of your journey. I think that it's really good for you to learn to be conservative, and you get more aggressive later on. I can't encourage you enough to do that. Quality versus quantity in trading. Again, the best plays rise far above the rest. If you want to make like a nature analogy, you see there's a few trees here, but then the volcano, even though it's small in the background, is much bigger. It's perspective, okay? And if you don't look to trade every single day, you'll find that, wow, every now and then there's a really solid setup in small caps and penny stocks, whether it's every 3 days, every 5 days, every week, sometimes even every 2 weeks. But the best traders that I know, they're not trading every single day. And it's counterintuitive because, again, I know, like, if you want to make money, you want to feel like you're grinding hard every day, but you just don't have to, okay? Like, grind hard studying, grind hard preparing, grind hard journaling all your trades and reviewing everything, but do not grind hard trading so much. Most traders who do that, they just churn and burn their accounts. There's a thing called the pattern day trader rule. You're limited to 3 day trades per 5 rolling day period. A lot of people grumble about it. If you have under $25,000, it applies to you. It's fine. You don't need more than 3 day trades per week in the beginning when you have a small account, and you can take an overnight trade any single night. It only applies to day trades. And frankly, overnight trades, especially on my weekend newsletter, have been my best performing strategy as of late. So trade less, focus on quality over quantity. Let's also talk about lazy versus dedicated. You can get lazy in your studies later on. You can get lazy in life later on, after you've achieved enough success, enough expertise and mastery. You can't afford to be lazy in your studies in the beginning. There's no work-life balance if you want to, be one of the few people who profit in trading and take your profits into 7 or 8 figure status. You got to grind so hard. You got to be so obsessed and so dedicated. Okay. We got here at like 3 a.m. I'm not saying that I'm trading right now, but I'm dedicated in showing you these views. I'm dedicated in making these video lessons. We got here. What time is it? 7. We've been here for like 4 hours. We're probably gonna be here another 30 minutes or so. Quinn's exhausted. Say hi, Quinn.
Hello.
Quinn's not feeling good. I'm exhausted. I'm not feeling good, but I'm dedicated in my teaching and I want to get these lessons to you. You have to choose how dedicated of a student you'll be. If you click the link below and apply for my challenge, do not be lazy. Lazy people and I do not get along. And again, it's not about trading all the time, it's studying. You're playing a game of catch up. There's so many DVDs, video lessons, webinars from the past. There's more and more live webinars, more and more new video lessons, more and more new plays, new trends. So you have to learn from the past and be, cognizant of what's happening in the present to be better prepared for the future. It's a lot of work, I'm not gonna lie. The good news is I don't know of any other industry where people who are not necessarily math geniuses, people who are not necessarily that intelligent, can still get rich within a few years. We're not like supreme athletes here. We're not, just having all these amazing qualities. I can't even talk right now. I'm just an average guy. My millionaire students are just average people too. So the thing that separates us is our dedication to studying, adapting, refining your trading process, making money over different patterns, finding what works best for you. Every single person watching this video is going to learn a little differently. Every single person watching this trades a little differently. We might trade similar stocks, but there's different patterns that are better suited to our own strengths and weaknesses. You and I have different personalities. You have to recognize that. This is all about finding what works best for you, but learning from me and my 30 plus millionaire students, you take a little something from all of them, you build it into your own process, like a kind of a Frankenstein, make it up as you go process strategy. And that is the secret. And then you refine, and it gets easier over time. I also want to talk about just happy versus sad. This is the last point that I'm going to make. I'm glad I made a list because there's no way I would have remembered all of these. We're here in Indonesia. It's beautiful, but the people here have very little, but they're still very happy. They're happy to be alive. They're happy for their family. They're always happy when they meet foreigners who want to come to their country. I know a lot of communities where you don't have that happiness. You're not welcoming of foreigners. You're not happy to be alive or grateful to be alive. You're not grateful to, have your family. You're complaining about every little thing. I know a lot of people in first world countries who have so much more money than any Indonesian or anyone in any third world country will ever have. And you're still miserable for all sorts of reasons. And you try to drown out that misery with drugs or alcohol or bad Marvel movies or going to the club or playing video games, anything to think about your own reality because you think that you have it bad. You don't have it bad. We live in the most fascinating time in human history. Look at me, I'm having breakfast with a view and I actually have a laptop with service here with this view. Never before in history has anybody been able to have an office with a view like this. Never before in the history of mankind has anybody ever had a tool like this where you have all the knowledge of human history on one laptop or on the internet or on your smartphone at your fingertips. Okay? Too many people don't have perspective. They waste the opportunity. They think that it's only about money. They think that they have to be richer. They have to have more social media followers. They have to be fitter. They have to be more popular. You don't have to be any of that. You have to find what makes you happy. And the reason why I'm so obsessed with teaching and so obsessed with getting you into the stock market is because I find once you have that knowledge about trading and finance, you have self-confidence. Once you have that self-confidence and that knowledge, you can actually earn your financial freedom. And then you have more time. Time is something that we're all lacking. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter me, doesn't matter Quinn, doesn't matter our guides here. We're all losing time. You have one life. So the question is, what are you going to do with that life? What are you going to do with that opportunity? You can't go back in time, right? You can only go forward. Doesn't matter if you've been ungrateful or sad in the past. Doesn't matter if you haven't studied in the past. Doesn't matter if you've been brought up with no money. Doesn't matter if your whole family is toxic. I know people with toxic family and toxic friends. You gotta weed all that out. You gotta focus on going forward. You gotta focus on the future. You can do anything you want in this life, but you're gonna have to study. You're gonna have to earn it. My top students get that. I've gotten that. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to pass down this message to you. And I wish someone had given me this message in the beginning. I wish I could go back in time and, I made so many boneheaded mistakes when I was younger. I did a lot of good, It brought me to this place. Now I'm very proud to teach and donate. Now nearly $10 million donated through Karmagawa, working on our third documentary. I love my charity. I love teaching. I love traveling. I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for my family. Moved my family down from crappy Connecticut to Miami. It's beautiful. Connecticut is still good, but Miami's better. You can really build your dream life for you and your family, but you need knowledge, you need self-confidence, and you need perspective. If you give in to negative, toxic people, you're never going to make money in penny stocks. You're never going to be a profitable trader. You won't be. I know there's a lot of people like that. Half the people who sign up for my challenge, a family member or a friend says, Tim Sykes is a scam, penny stocks are a scam, don't do it. All I can do is show all my trades and patterns year after year. I might not be up huge in 2023, but I'm still green. I might not have been up huge in 2022, but I was still green, all while traveling and building my teaching business and charity and living life. In 2020 and 2021, I made $1 million each of those years in trading profits. Over the past 4 years, I'm averaging roughly $500,000 per year. Over 25 years, I'm averaging roughly $300,000 per year. Not the biggest trader at all. There's many traders who make millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or billions. But the strategy I teach is very simple and replicable. It's not risky like a lot of short sellers. Even though short sellers can make money, can you actually replicate that success, especially in the beginning of your journey? Can you replicate their success if you're not so great at math? Can you even really learn a strategy that's very complex? Most people, the answer is no. So I teach simple patterns, simple rules, simple lessons. But I know that they work worldwide. No matter who you are, man or woman, no matter your background, no matter if your friends or family think that I'm a scam or think that penny stocks are a scam, I'm just going to keep teaching. I'm just going to keep trading. I might lose on some trades. It happens. When I lose, I make a video lesson. I'm going to win more times than not, most likely. I'm going to make video lessons on my wins. You're going to learn over and over again on all of my trades and now all of my student trades. This all speeds up your education. Education is the key to mastery. Mastery brings self-confidence and financial freedom over time. And then travel the world, see different cultures, try different cuisines, try different activities, see what makes you happiest. And once you find what makes you happiest, do it more and more and more. Spend the most time doing what you love with the people that you love. That's my secret to success. That's my secret to happiness. I might not have the most money in the trading world, but I do definitely have the best adventures. I definitely have the best life of any trader I know because I have perspective. I've been doing it so long and I've curated my life to figure out what makes me happiest. You wonder how I have so much energy. Some people think like I'm on coke. They think I'm like drinking Red Bulls before I do. I'm exhausted right now, but I believe in my message so much and I know how this message can affect you and I know how I can teach you. So it's my honor to share this view with you. It's my honor to share these lessons with you. Whether you heed this advice or not, whether you ignore my rule about cutting losses quickly, whether you want to short sell, whether you want to go all in, all I can do is teach you lessons that I've learned the hard way over a quarter of a century. And I'm going to keep teaching. I'm going to keep creating new millionaires. I'm going to use new technology, whether it's a laptop or a smartphone or stocks to trade or XGPT. You can click a bunch of links below. Click around. Don't be afraid to try something new. Don't be afraid to learn. You will be shocked at what you can accomplish in life if you're more open-minded. Okay? Don't be narrow-minded and say, no, I'll never visit that country. No, I'll never try that food. No, I'll never try that activity. You might surprise yourself. Again, going back to the beginning of my career, I never would have thought that I would love to travel so much. I never would have believed in charity so much. I never would have thought that I would get more of an adrenaline rush when one of my students banks than I do when I bank on a trade. I never would have thought that I get so much more enjoyment opening a new school, which we have in 1 week. I'm opening my 116th school. Never would have thought that would have given me more enjoyment than all the exotic cars and all the luxuries that I've had in my life. By the way, I sold all my luxury cars. I'm carless. I have no real estate. I just bought my parents' places down in Miami. We combined 1, 2, 3 units. So they have 3 condos right on Miami Beach. That's the only real estate I have. I found what works best for me. It might not work best for you. You have to try and you have to tinker and you have to be willing to be wrong. You have to be willing to lose and you have to be willing to adapt in the pursuit of success. Those are my lessons for today. I got to go back and post. Happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. I'm so grateful to all of you for even tuning in. Hopefully I can help you in your journey. Definitely click some links below. Use XGPT, use AI to enhance your life. Click below to join my challenge only if you're dedicated. And I'll also include videos about my biggest losses, my best patterns, everything to help you learn. Click, 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 study, 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 optimize, 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 succeed, succeed, succeed. I gotta go, I'm losing my voice.